Hi, it's John down in my basement enjoying a cup of coffee, Tuesday, November the 19th. And today we're going to talk about climate change. Ooh, and we're going to hear the voice of that annoying Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. Now, I'm going to go low tech on this, not going to try to hunt down this video, download it, and insert it. And you're going to hear his voice in just a moment. So be prepared for the cringe. But what he said at the G20 in a Q&A there is absolutely stunning, and I'm going to play it for you in just a moment. Now, for those of you who don't know, I live in Alberta. Now, Alberta sits on one of the largest deposits of fossil fuels in the whole world. And here in Canada, the government of Canada, under Justin Trudeau, the Liberals, are trying to destroy our oil and gas industry. Now, luckily, we have the United Conservative Party leading our province with Danielle Smith as our premier, and she is fighting back against the climate cult out east. So let's talk about fossil fuel. I have a saying: fossil fuels don't cause the climatic conditions that can kill you, they protect you from the climatic conditions that can kill you. I did a video earlier this year when we had temperatures for about a week and a half at minus 35 to minus 40 here in Alberta back in late January. It was freaking cold. And when it gets cold, it gets really cold. And my furnace right here that runs on natural gas is the only thing that keeps my family alive. And they were talking last February about possible power outages because it was so damn cold. And if the power had gone down in this house, it would not be very long before all the people, my wife, and myself and my 3 cats would have been freezing to death. It would have come damn quick. So here is Justin Trudeau in Brazil at a Q&A. Let me turn this up so you can hear it and listen to what this SOB says.
It's really, really easy when you're in a short-term survive. I got to be able to pay the rent this month. I got to be able to buy groceries for my kids, to say, okay, let's put climate change as a slightly lower priority. And that's something that's instinctive. When the storm comes, you want to hunker down and just sort of huddle up and wait for it to blow over. We can't do that around climate change. And unfortunately, we have an awful lot of political amplification of the kind of narrative that is directly opposed to that. It's really, really easy.
So that's the clip. See, in essence, he's saying you should put climate change above feeding your family or paying the rent. I mean, it's absolutely stunning that this is the way this fool thinks. If you believe what this guy says or anything that he says about climate change, you're in a cult. The left is a cult now. That's why Donald Trump won so big in the United States. The left doesn't get it, and they still won't accept that their ideas are bad. I mean, Donald Trump won huge in the United States. It was a historic win over Kamala Harris. And you see video after video after video of people saying, oh, people were concerned about the price of gas and the price of eggs and bread. What's wrong with them? Why didn't they vote for Kamala? Because that's what's important. I mean, these are people who think transgenderism is more important than having to pay food prices that are going through the roof. Or abortion. The left is losing its mind in the United States because, oh my God, there might be some limits on abortion in a few states. But women don't have abortions every week. They got to buy food, and it's the same thing when it comes to climate change. You really think people give a whit about the climate? Generally, when they poll people, the economy is the number one thing, right off the top, followed generally by healthcare. Climate change doesn't even come into the picture until way down the list. Nobody gives a damn about it if they can't pay for their food. I mentioned it in a video just the other day. It costs me about $4 a liter for cream for coffee now. It used to be $2. Prices are way up. Now, I know Pierre Poilievre is a smart guy. He's the leader of the Conservative Party. The next prime minister will be Pierre Poilievre, and there will be a majority government conservative in this country. And he's going to use this video over and over again and tell people this is what the Prime Minister of Canada thinks. You should be more concerned about climate change than paying for food and rent. This is insane. This is insane. If you believe this guy, you are insane. And this guy runs our country. We still have to put up with this fool for the next 10, 11 months before the next election. They're just basically putting a cap on our oil and gas here to cut down on how much fuel we produce. If we cut off our oil and gas in this country, we'll lose $30 billion a year. Now, that might sound like a little bit for people who live in the United States, but we have 1/10 the population here. That's huge. Our oil and gas industry is huge in this country, and this guy and people like him want to end it. They don't want to cut back on emissions. They want emissions to end. I mean, they're investing heavily in EVs. I heard that Ford is probably going to lose their Oakville plant for manufacturing cars because the government is forcing them to make EVs, and they're losing tens of thousands of dollars on every vehicle because of climate change, because of fools like Justin Trudeau and the people who follow him pushing this climate change nonsense. Don't buy food. Don't pay your rent. Worry about climate change. That's what the Prime Minister of Canada thinks. Folks, this has to end. And with the guy in Washington now, it's going to end. Because Donald Trump is not following this at all. He's going to pump oil. And I hope Canada can get a government in and we can pump oil and get it to other places around the world. If you're living in another world and concerned about climate change, then maybe you want our natural gas instead of burning coal. Personally, don't give a damn about CO2. And here's the thing. You've got these G20 people probably talking lots about climate change in Brazil, enjoying the warm weather, getting fed with all the best food in the world, flying in on their jets, burning fuel all over the place. Here's the thing. Climate change is about people who live large telling the rest of us how to live small. Thanks for watching.